Republican Senator Steve Daines of Montana, member of the Foreign Relations Committee, is on set with me. Welcome. Great to have you in person today. Look, no one can stop talking about the subject of what we saw over the weekend, and you just shocked me. 6 of those Tren de Aragua came from your hometown of Bozeman.
Yeah, would you ever think they're right there in Montana? Our local law enforcement across Montana, we've been battling the Mexican cartels for years, but to have these TDA gang members in Bozeman, Montana, 6 of them arrested by ICE and deported. These are the worst of the worst. Of course, this gang began in a Venezuelan prison. This is a multinational crime operation involved in drugs, in murders, in prostitution. 6 of these gang members in Bozeman, Montana. Thank God for President Trump's leadership of getting these guys off the street and deporting out of this country.
So, Senator, moments ago, you had shared with me that ICE knew about the 6 TDA in Bozeman, Montana, but because of the Biden administration's policies, had not moved on them.
Yeah, they were just kind of leaning back. Once President Trump was elected, they're leaning in and not afraid to deal with this. President Trump understands he's got to keep this country safe. And one of his important responsibilities is getting these hardened criminals off of our streets and out of our country.
So how is it that a judge steps in? That doesn't help keep us safe. What's the motive there? I mean, is there something that judge is, in your opinion, trying to legally do to protect us? Because I don't see it.
I'll tell you what, this is an important role of the United States Senate, is making sure we get the right judges on the bench. One of the most important votes I take as a U.S. Senator is when we put one of these federal judges on the bench. That's a lifetime appointment. And some of these judges are out there far left. Look at the ACLU. ACLU is representing these guys.
Unbelievable. Well, both the United States and the Iran-backed Houthi rebels, terrorists, are promising to ramp up hostilities after President Trump authorized airstrikes over the weekend. And those airstrikes targeted Houthi-held parts of Yemen, and they're aimed to stop the terror group's attacks on ships in the Red Sea, and of course ships and our men and women in the military in those areas as well. Houthis responded with a video showing American flag-draped coffins floating near destroyed Navy ships. But the U.S. is not holding back. The president posted this: "We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up, and your attacks must stop starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have seen before. To Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
An era of peace through strength is back. This campaign is about freedom of navigation and restoring deterrence. The minute the Houthis say, "We'll stop shooting at your ships, we'll stop shooting at your drones," this campaign will end. But until then, it will be unrelenting.
So this also a big topic of conversation this weekend. People wondering, well, wait a minute, is this going to stop them? They've been fighting with Saudi Arabia for quite some time, and they're still fighting.
All I got to say here is just thank God for President Trump and his moral clarity. America's strength is back. The Houthis, their motto includes death to America, death to Israel. They've been launching missiles at Israel, been launching missiles in the important navigational seaways there of the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea. You've got to keep these navigational areas free and open. And the best way to go after terrorism is to kill them. And I'm grateful for President Trump. I'm grateful for his team. Marco Rubio, all-star Secretary of State. Pete Hegseth, taking the woke craziness out of the military. And you've got Mike Walls as National Security Advisor, a Green Beret. These are exactly the kind of leaders we want to have in America, keeping this country safe.
You talk about moral authority. That's not a political thing. I mean, protecting America should not be political. Why have we gotten to this point? I mean, why didn't the previous president? And I was talking about this right at the start of the Israel war when Hamas savages invaded that country and killed so many innocent Israelis. They were hitting us as if Iran was saying, look, we can hit too. We can do this. We can do that. I mean, we know that.
Well, there's only one way to deal with terrorism. You don't negotiate, you kill them. And that's what President Trump is doing, whether it's Hamas, whether it's Hezbollah,
do you think it'll work?
Well, I'd say you've got to take the fight to the terrorists, or they bring the fight to us on our homeland.
Well, we know we had an open border for the last 4 years, so...
And a lot of known terrorists coming across that southern border. And by the way, the numbers are remarkable what President Trump has done. Record high levels of illegals under Biden, record low levels now coming across the southern border last month under the leadership of President Trump.
All right, let's move to the Senator. You recently met with President Trump just last week to talk about your upcoming trip to China, where you plan to address the flow of deadly fentanyl into this country. What are next steps, and what did you and the president talk about?
Well, we know it's the Mexican cartels that are producing the fentanyl, but those precursors, the raw materials, come from China. It's the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-old Americans. We lost nearly 100,000 Americans last year to fentanyl poisoning. I will be talking with the Chinese leadership about what they can do. They can do a whole lot more to shut down the flow of these chemicals that go to Mexico, and then fentanyl comes in the United States.
Well, and no doubt the president understands your history in China. And 6 years, you mentioned to me, with Procter & Gamble, you lived inside China. How is it different today in terms of dealing with them? We've got the tariff situation going on. What are you anticipating as you land?
Well, when I was working back there back in the 90s, we had 2 children born in Hong Kong back then. It was about a $500 billion economy. Today, it's $15 trillion, the second largest economy in the world. In fact, 4 times larger than the third largest economy, which is Germany and Japan. So it's a massive economy. We have the largest trade deficit with any country in the world, and that's with China, about $300 billion. This will be about fentanyl, but it'll also be about this $300 billion trade deficit that we have with China, what we can do to change the trade practices. Big opportunity.
When you talk about the number of how big their economy is, well, no wonder they're doing pretty well with that kind of a deficit against us. And we know how many of their goods we buy. Of course they're going to do well.
And we could sell a whole lot more into China. You think about Boeing. We'd love to sell, 500 new airplanes to China. Why? That will help American jobs. That's going to help an American company. We need access to their market. Think about our American farmers and ranchers. It's the second largest beef market in the world. My cow guys out in Montana want more access to that market. My wheat producers, my barley producers, the soybean producers. There's 1.4 billion consumers over there. We need better access to those markets.
I love hearing you talk about cows. I'm a cowgirl. So I'm coming to Bozeman.
We have 3 million cows and 1 million people in Montana.
That's a great statistic. Senator, it's wonderful to see you.
Thanks,
Good luck on your voyage to China on our behalf as a nation.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.